What's going on, guys? It's Josh back with another episode of Sometimes I Say Things. Today, I want to talk to you about something that is really kind of bothering me. I got a little bit heartbroken this morning. Just to explain what I mean by that, basically, I woke up, started getting myself ready for work like I do, and I put on some music. I'm kind of scrolling through Spotify, and what I noticed is a guy I used to love to listen to, John Reuben. I hadn't heard from him in a while. He hadn't put out an album in a while. It looks like he came out with the album in May. Didn't know anything about it. So, track one, play. Track one starts. I start making my food. We get through like a verse and a chorus, and I'm listening and trying to get it, and and all of a sudden I think I hear something. So I put my food cooking on pause, and I grab my phone and backtrack a little bit. Listen to it again. Yeah, sounds like I heard what I heard. Let's do it one more time. Backtrack. Put it up to my ear so I can hear it really good. Okay. Yeah. Sounds like that's what I heard. Let's go to Google. Let's look up some lyrics. And sure enough, this Christian hip hopper that I have a personal feeling about is using cuss words in his rap, in his Christian rap. His rap's about Christ. He's using curse words. Now, that may not sound like that big of a deal, but let me explain why that is affecting me. Without giving too much of a testimony, back in the day, in the 90s, when I was a teenager, I wasn't living for Christ. I was living very far away from Christ. And my favorite music was the dirtiest of hip-hop that you could find. NWA, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, any of the West Coast gangster rap. The stuff that put all the bad things into hip-hop is where I was. Okay. Now, that being said, when I was getting out of my teenage years, I had a job where God put a man in my life. I say a man, he was my age at the time, so we were both still young. But God put this man in my life that was a Christian. And he knew some things because God knows things about us, and he knows that I was totally into hip-hop. And I grew up in church. My parents raised me up in church, and I had just fallen away on my own. But what happened was God put this man in my life, and this guy basically reintroduced me to church through music. He brought me a CD. He knew I liked hip hop. I was trying to play some of my hip hop for him. He didn't want to hear it because, let's face it, it was awful. So he brings me his John Reuben album CD. And it was John Reuben's first CD. And I'm like, okay, let's listen to this. I fell in love. And it was different. And I feel like God knows us to the point where he knows what it's going to take to get to us. What it's going to take to change our hearts. This album and this person that he put in my life, I put a lot of weight into that a lot of who I became as a Christian was based on that moment in time, because he listened to God, and I was accepting of what God had for me at that point, and so John Reuben, like I said, has a special place in my heart. So that's why it really upset me when I heard this. The Bible tells us that we can't serve two masters. We can't be of the world and of Christ. Romans 12:2 says that we're supposed to be transformed in our mind and not conform to this world. But we're supposed to have a transforming of our mind. And I feel like that's where this album is falling short for me, because the language isn't necessary. And I'm hoping this is a moment in time where Reuben is just going to realize that he stepped the wrong way, and he's going to come back from that and go back to what he was doing. And I'm going to pray that that's the case. But ultimately, I think this is an example that we can all learn from, because this is something that, he's not saying that he's no longer a Christian. This is still a Christian, Christ-centered album with cussing in it. Okay? It's like saying, yeah, we're going to have a church service. Bring your beer, bring your alcohol, bring your weed, and we're just going to sit around and talk about God and how great he is. Okay? Something's wrong in that. We're going down the path of the world and not of Christ. And we have to get away from that. That goes for a lot of things in life, but I feel like that's kind of the same, in the same boat as what John Reuben's doing, because he's not saying he's not a Christian. This is still considered a Christian album. There's reviewers out there that say they're upset at the fact that the use of profanity is overshadowing the lyrics in the music, and I don't see how it can't. To me, I don't see how listening to a Christian artist and all of a sudden hearing just language being dropped like that can't take front and center stage, because you don't expect it. It's not what you're expecting. So, and again, I think this is the example that we can take from this is, we have to be of Christ and not of this world. And I think that by allowing this language into music like that, we're taking on a role of possibly leading people down the wrong path. So that's where I'm at with that. Like I said, I want to pray for him and for other Christian hip hop artists that I've listened to that have fell along the way. But I want to leave the vlog at that, because I just wanted to get that out there. And maybe make you think about some things in your life that aren't necessarily leading the best of examples for other people. Whether it's alcohol, drugs, addictions to music, or to, certain types of movies, certain types of music, certain types of entertainment in general, that, anybody that sees us looking at this stuff or doing these things, and knows that we're Christians, they're gonna immediately assume it's okay. And if it's not of Christ, guys, it's not okay. There's no other way around it. It's cut and dry. If it's not of God, then it's not okay. And if it's not something God would allow, then why would it be okay? And I've had to change a lot in my life when it comes to things like that, when it comes to music, when it comes to movies. I used to love scary movies. I don't watch them anymore. I can't. I just can't. I've got a conviction on my heart that stops me from watching those, because God doesn't create fear. God doesn't create evil. That's not him. And so I'm putting that evil into me, and I'm opening doors that shouldn't be open. And I know God wouldn't approve of that. And my life is here to make him approve of me, and to get other people to follow him as well. And if I'm watching things like this, if I'm saying words like that, and I'm doing those things, all I'm doing is making it seem like it's okay to ride the fence. And we can't ride the fence. God says you either have to be hot or cold. Don't be lukewarm. So either you're for him or you're against him. You can't be both. That's where we're going to end the vlog. Hey, guys, I love you. I hope you have a great weekend. It's Saturday morning. I got to go to work. But, yeah, love you guys. Deuces. Yeah.